Hello everybody, welcome to today's session of the Health and Wellness Expo. Today I have Susan with me from, I'm going to forget now.
Life Upright Wellness.
Life Upright, that's right. I was going to say Upright Life, I couldn't quite remember. I didn't have it written down in front of me. Sorry about that, Susan.
That's okay.
Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm doing really, really well. How about you tell us a little bit about yourself, Susan, about where you've obviously got an accent. You're not a resident, well, you're a resident Kiwi, but perhaps not born and bred here. Tell us a bit about your story, how you came to New Zealand and what you do.
Well, I'll give you a shortened version of it. So as you can tell, I'm not from New Zealand. I'm originally from North Carolina in the US, and my husband's from Texas. We met in Texas when I was a teenager. Anyway, and so yeah, he had a lifelong dream of wanting to live in New Zealand after reading about the Milford Track in a National Geographic magazine when he was about 14. And he's from a small town in West Texas, and literally there's places called No Trees and Plain View, and I mean nothing like what New Zealand looks like. And so he just devoured the magazine every month reading about all these places in the world, and he picked New Zealand as a place he definitely wanted to check out. So fast forward, he was out of graduate school, came to New Zealand and fell in love with it. And he's like, someday I want to live there. So, and then fast forward again, our first date, he went on and on about New Zealand and how he'd been over there a few times and he wanted to go back. And so then, shortly thereafter, a couple of years, we got married, and he did bring me to New Zealand, and I was amazed, just like what he was saying. It was just incredible. So that's what first brought us
part of the world.
Amazing. And so he brought me over here to check it out right after our daughter, I guess she was about 6 months old. And then 10 years later, after we'd had 2 more children, we came to New Zealand, moved over here, 2-year resident visa. And after 3 years, we became citizens. Mm-hmm. And our 1 to 2 years that we were going to live here, just as a lifestyle change, turned into 6.
Wow.
So we, the kids all went to school here, and we loved living here and just thought it was amazing. But eventually we wanted the kids to go to university in the States and get back to family. So we moved back after that 6th year and back home 13 years. And then we came back. So we're back over here again. And 2 of our 3 children are over here too. So
nice.
That's kind of what brought us here.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So what have you done as your career? Obviously, you are now doing some nutrition coaching and supporting people in that space, amongst other things. So how has that happened over your life?
Well, looking back, I actually have a finance and banking degree that I got years ago, thinking that I was going to get into banking or accounting or something like that, and never really had to put that much into action. We had 3 children, so I was a busy stay-at-home mom, and did a lot of volunteer work with the kids and whatever the kids were involved in, our church, our neighborhood, or stuff, things like that. And I think just over the years, I was just doing life and being a mom and doing all those things. I did a lot of teaching at our church again, at the kids' schools. I have about 14 years experience in modeling and acting at that point. Okay. And I guess I was in my mid 40s, and our youngest one was at Alpha University, and our oldest, our daughter, said, Mom, maybe it's time to reinvent yourself, that we all don't need you to be at school and selling, brownies or doing sausage sizzles or whatever, raising money. And why don't you do something for you now? And I thought, well, what am I going to do? I don't really want to do finance and banking or accounting, or can't think of any of those things. She goes, Mom, just do what you do best. I mean, you bring out the best in other people. Just teach people, all about the fitness that you love and nutrition and how people should eat so that they can live a better, healthy, balanced life. And relationships. Mom, you're so good at working with people and you love talking with people. So just wrap that up in a way that you can sell it. I thought,
how beautiful is that? That's so cool that your child suggested this to you.
It was definitely. I had another really good friend too. She was a tennis friend of mine, and she just was like, you just need to go and do teach people to do, live like you do.
Yeah.
And I thought, do people really want to know how and they're like, yes, they do. So of course I do know that. So, you know, and I love talking with people. And as it turned out, I had back when our youngest was first born, a personal trainer a good friend of ours suggested I read a book by Dr. Barry Sears.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a nutrition book about, you know, how to eat and trim down. It was kind of a, you know, the zone diet.
Mm-hmm.
So some people may be familiar with that. And so I read it and I was like intrigued, and I was like, this whole concept of inflammation in our body. And of course, you know, I was 27 or 28 at the time our last child was born. And I wasn't thinking about having inflammation. I mean, I still felt young and, you know, pretty fit. Obviously I had baby fat to get off, but anyway, I was intrigued with this whole science. And funny enough, science was probably my least favorite of school, but suddenly when it totally related to me and I could feel, you know, that I needed to understand this information for my own health and my family's health, I got really into it. And so I started following Dr. Sears and really everything he was doing. And so really pretty much studied him. My kids would be like, oh, Mom, you know, there's more people in life to study instead of this one person, you know, but I was so fascinated with what, you know, his science. And anyway, fast forward a few years, when my daughter brought this up, I thought, you know, this is something I could do. And I want to bring this science to other people. So of course I didn't have the credential to go and do that. So I talked with my husband. Of course, at mid 40s is not usually the time people go back to get a university degree or a second degree or graduate school or whatever. But I decided I'd look into it and, you know, do this in a part-time way too. I didn't need to do something full-time. I didn't need to bring in money to pay our mortgage or to buy all the groceries or things like that. So I was in a really good position. Mm-hmm. So I got certified to teach nutrition and wellness through an online courses. And then I reached out to Dr. Sears, my daughter. Again, she's been a big influence in this whole journey of mine. Yeah. She, in her business development and in the business that she was with, she's really good at prospecting, you know, basically like cold calling, introducing who she is, telling them what, you know, what their company could offer them, and, you know, get an appointment to go see them. So she did that and she was amazing at it. And so she figured out the way to get Dr. Sears on the phone. Wow. Well, she herself didn't talk to Dr. Sears, but she talked to his PA or whatever. You know, in America, it's a little different than New Zealand. You can't just like pick up the phone and call the CEO of a company and just go, hey, I want to have a chat. Yeah. It just doesn't happen that way in America. But she worked it out and she figured out a time that was good for him. And, you know, I would just certainly make the time, you know, that I could talk to him. And, you know, I just frantic went into notes and what all am I going to ask him? And oh my gosh, you know, it was like I was talking to the president. He was such a, I don't want to use the word idol because I don't really have idols, but I was just so enamored with the opportunity to get to talk to him. And so I got him on the phone. Of course, he sounded just like I had heard him in all his videos. I could picture him completely. Yeah. And I just had all these questions. So my first angle with it was I wanted to be his social media person. So it's like, you know, he's the scientist. He's the one that knows. He's the understands how all this works. And I just felt like when his science came out in the 80s, probably more like early 90s, it was more received as a diet. He called it the zone diet. And so I think for most people, you think of a diet as something you get on for a period of time, you have success or you don't have success, and then you get off. And so I think literally it was kind of misnamed because it's not a diet. It is a lifestyle choice and a way of living. He's more from the nutritional point of view. I, with my courses and studies, realized there's so much more to health and wellness than just nutrition. Nutrition is a huge part of it, but there's still, you've got to get sleep. You've got to have good, balanced, healthy relationships around you. You have to, you know, work on your self-esteem. You have to, you know, just work on so many other things in life to really have that balance. But nutrition is definitely a starting point for it. Anyway, so my idea of just being his social media guru, which at the time didn't even know that much about social media, but I thought I'm going to just aim high and I'm going to jump in and do that.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
And he, as being a scientist, no disrespect, but he's very much, here I am with the science. And he said, this is evidence-based science. This is not, fly by night social media, trend here, trend there. And so he just did not see that he needed to get the word out there and create a buzz again, like what social media can do. Which I totally disagreed, and I tried like 4 different angles. I talked to him for an hour.
Oh, wow.
So here, feeling like I'm talking to the president, getting the chance to, I had him on the telephone for an hour, just literally probably 30 minutes of that, trying to talk him into letting me be his social media person.
Yeah.
But as it was, he said that he had a program that he was doing health coaches, that you could go through a program. And at the time he had less than 50 people in the whole world that were health coaches. Yeah. And so I was like, how do I do this? Sign me up. So I went through his program, and he's had another program too that I've carried on. So I've got 2 different certifications to teach his science basically. And I've worked with his, it's not a right-hand man, it's a right-hand female. Yeah. Whenever I've had issues or, need to call and figure out how does this work? I don't know how to explain this to a client or whatever. And she's been very, very helpful. And so yeah, just kind of, that was my springboard. I was like, well, I'm going to use my nutrition and wellness, certification that I received, got 2 from him. And then I just continued to just pour over stuff. I read like crazy, and I'm, just like you, I just like, once you kind of get the bug, you just just want to absorb. And my husband, we went to bed last night and we were both reading our books, and he's reading something I've recently bought him. And he's like, what are you going to read? I said, I'm going to read about inflammation. And he just looked at me like, that would put me to sleep in about 2 seconds. I was like, I'll have a hard time putting it down. So, I mean, that's how I geek out on this stuff. I just am so fascinated with it.
I'm very similar in that regard. It's just like novels. Oh man, I'd love to sit down and just enjoy a bit of, just a bit of escapism, but I've got all these other things I want to know. I've got to read all this stuff first.
I know, and trying to find time to get in and read all that. Exactly. I just, I'll flip through magazines, when I'm drinking a cup of tea. Yeah. That's kind of like my little precious time, but that's maybe 15 minutes, but literally if I've got an hour to spend on reading, I'm going to grab something on, digestive enzymes or something and just geek out on it. Yeah. So, really, but yeah, no, that's what I did that. Yeah. Yeah. So I did that as far as that's what kind of got me started with it. And literally it was just a matter of word of mouth. I had neighbor, housewives come over and would have these little sessions in my office, my little makeshift office, and talk to them about, stuff and get them to, get their feedback and what were they struggling with. And I would say, well, if you started eating like this, and if you had more of this in your diet and a little less of that, maybe we could just all do a big walk in the neighborhood, on a regular basis, just really trying to encourage it. Yeah. And I think they really enjoyed it. Some of them, it's just like with any clients that I work with, some people really take on board and they get into it and they see results and they're excited about it. And then some that's just like, oh, maybe they're kind of looking for that quick fix, that magic pill. And I can't offer that. I can't. What I can offer. Yeah. Really, nobody can, but it certainly seems to be alive and well out there on social media that people go, oh, just eat this, take these pills and just do these one things, or don't eat these and your body will be. I was like, oh, if it could be that easy, then none of us would have any issues, right? But right. Unfortunately, we're all, very unique. And so our bodies are very unique, but there are certainly basics to how our body processes things that are similar. But even saying that, I mean, no 2 clients I've had are exactly the same. So we're working and maneuvering, and my tagline with Life Upright Wellness is personalized wellness integrated with your busy life. Because
that's beautiful. Yeah.
I have found that I know the key to helping people find success is being able to have a program that they can live in their everyday lives. I mean, if it's something that's so restrictive that they feel deprived, they're probably not going to stay on it very long. Yeah. So I take them through the process of educating them first how their body processes.
Mm.
Why, if they've got a weight issue, is it a matter of they are eating in a way that they're storing their excess calories, and
Mm.
those excess calories literally are being locked away.
Yeah.
So their body doesn't have access to use what they have in storage. And, when I tell them that what they have in excess storage, i.e. in their fat cells, wherever they carry their fat on their body, it's high octane fuel. And
Yeah.
if they can access it, they have so much more energy in storage than they do if they go and eat, a piece of fruit or, some pasta or something.
Yeah.
And so what I try to get people to understand is that when they learn to eat in a way that they can access that stored body fat, then they're using that. And so their body is slowly, it's almost like a potato peeler,
Yeah.
it's like trimming down their body all over. It's not just coming off your butt. It's not just coming off the back of your arms or wherever you're carrying fat. It's coming off all over.
Mm.
And you are decreasing what you have in storage. And then the good thing is, while initially it seems to be it's still just a moderate fat diet. It's not necessarily a low fat diet, but compared to how most people eat it, it is lower than what most people do on fat, because they've got excess in their storage. So they're using that as well for energy. And so once that gets trimmed down and they're at a healthy body fat percentage or a healthy weight for them, then they actually can eat more healthy fat in their diet, which, who doesn't like more guacamole?
Yeah,
Who doesn't
exactly.
like, a little bit more peanut butter or some more olive oil drizzled on their vegetables or whatever. So yeah, I think people want to hear that. They want to understand how their body works. It just clears up the air as to, why did I gain it in the first place? Well, this is why, because this is how everybody's body processes food this way. And so if I can teach them that, then it helps them kind of visualize how their body got where they are in the first place.
Yeah.
And then of course I have them do fill out an initial health information form. Health of their mom, health of their dad, their stress level, how their body process, do they suffer with constipation, diarrhea, do they have excess bloating or gassiness, how do they sleep, what medications are they on, have they taken a lot of antibiotics, that makes a big difference with our gut bacteria. And then obviously how much they exercise or how little they exercise,
Yeah.
And so I take all that into account, as well as I have them do a food diary for 4 to 7 days. And so I can see what they're eating. And so I can kind of analyze both of those forms to figure out, here's some reasons why you're struggling with weight loss. Here's some reasons why you're not sleeping well. Here's some reasons why you have that excess, gassiness or whatever. Here's some reasons why your blood pressure is high. So it just, to me, it's very clear by looking at those two forms and obviously talking to them. And then just teaching them. So I think when people understand what they're doing that makes their health not ideal, then it just opens the picture up for them. They're like, okay, well, and then I've got them setting goals. And it's like, okay, well, let's work at these goals. Let's make them achievable to begin with, but also, have a timeline, and so we can be committed to these goals and look back to them, refer to them. Okay, you were wanting to lose, X amount of weight by this date. Let's go back to your goal. Have we achieved that? If so, great. If not, then we need to do a little bit more. We need to do a little more in the exercise. We need to really watch and make sure we're balancing our meals and doing that more often, not having so many cheap meals. Maybe we need to cut back on alcohol more, I try to, as I said, I try to integrate it into their busy lives. Moving to New Zealand, I think I have more friends over here that enjoy alcohol than I ever did living in Texas. Not that they didn't enjoy their alcohol in Texas, but so that is a factor. But people have to realize that when they're having their wine or they're having their gin and tonic, they are drinking their carbohydrates. So let's figure out a way that we're going to eat, the rest of our meal is going to be, make sure you're balanced with your proteins and your fats and less carbohydrates, because you're obviously going to have a glass or two of wine. Huge. But I love it. I love meeting people. I love helping people. I kind of have a, silly thing with whoever I'm texting with. When I get excited, I always put the emoji of the dancing girl, you know,
Yep.
with her little fancy dress on. I feel like I am that emoji. You know, I love to dance, and
Awesome.
the children know it. They'll put Van Halen on, and they're like, "This is going to get mom up dancing." I mean, just wait. Especially if I've had a glass of wine, I'm definitely going to be doing it. But I love dancing. I love dancing in my kitchen. You know, I just crank up the music when we're either cooking dinner or cleaning up for dinner. We did it last night, so I mean, literally, I'm a dancing girl. I love it. But I want people to have that feeling about life.
Yeah. And I think that's
I
where,
want people to have that light bulb go off in their life, that I didn't know I could feel this good. I didn't know that I could wake up in the morning and just be ready to jump out of bed and not feel like, oh, I'm going to hit the snooze button. I'm just still so exhausted. I
yeah.
didn't get enough rest. I want them to feel energized. I want them to be amazed that they have so much energy at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm.
Not, oh, I got to get that nap in, or I've got to have a coffee, or
Yeah, I think that's really, really important, Susan. You know, like
um,
there's so many people out there that just
you
go,
know,
oh, waking up in the morning,
not
I'm so
to
fatigued.
feel
Yeah.
um, like they have life.
Mm. Yeah. It's really something that people need to understand, that they don't have to continually feel that way.
Looks like you've
It's,
frozen on the
yeah,
camera.
your camera has frozen a little bit here. Hopefully it comes back in again. There we go. I think you've come back now.
It's coming. There
Um,
it is.
yeah.
There you go.
You know, that people, you know, like you said, you know, taking you back to talking with Dr. Sears, like it's not that it was reframed incorrectly as saying it's a diet, you know, like through all my journey, you know, it's like, oh, I'll try this diet or that diet, you know, and it's all very restrictive, and it's all very, you know, like it's not sustainable. It's not a
Exactly.
lifestyle. And people, I think people are becoming far more aware now that there is no quick fix, and diets are a short thing. And yep, you can diet, or you can do a particular nutrition shake and make thing, whatever it happens to be, but really your body can't do that forever. You know, you've got to find
Right.
a lifestyle that fits for you. And that's certainly been my slow learning. But now I'm far more about, look, just live a really moderate life. Make sure you're having lots of, you know, good nutritious vegetables and fruits, and all of those sorts of things. Understand what you're eating. And I myself, just even over the last couple of weeks, the inflammation in my hip had been flaring up again, you know, lots more sitting, being slightly less mobile than I had been. Exercise had kind of gone out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these things. And then the other night, my hip was just giving me so much grief. And I said to my husband, that's a red flag for me, you know, like
Yeah.
it's not. And he goes, oh, what's wrong with your hip? And I'm just like, no, it's just telling me that I'm having far too much sugar in my diet. I'm having, you know, like we were having a drink, just one every night with dinner, you know, and like we hadn't done that for forever. I don't know the last
Yeah.
time I had a drink every night for dinner for an extended period of time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so there was all these just tiny little things that added together was not good for my body. And so my body went, right, you listen to your hip. I'm going to make that wicked sore for you so that you actually
Yeah.
pay attention and tidy yourself up. You know, it's like increase your water, change from whatever, you know, like make sure you're having some almonds, or, you know, just change what you're having, you know, like and
Right.
you know, just be kind to your body. And so, you know, I got up yesterday and I moved this morning. You know, I still have one coffee every day, so while the coffee was pouring this morning, I did 10 squats, just getting that mobility in my body again, you know, like
Right.
um and it's making it a lifestyle. That means that you can still have a glass of wine, or you can still have a coffee every day if that's what you want. And
Mm-hmm.
I completely understand what you wanted to do, being Dr. Sears social media guru, is you want to actually tell people and educate people in
Mm-hmm.
a language that works for people, that this is a
Right.
lifestyle change. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle
Absolutely.
change. This is how you're going to help yourself. So yeah, I totally hear where you're coming from. I love a good
Mm.
dance too. My
I don't know why I brought that up. I just kind of think, oh, anyway, but that's me. That's for sure. Most people that know me that knows that too. So,
So
but yeah,
you're up in Auckland, and so
yeah.
you currently work within some of the gyms up there. Is that correct?
Yes, I am the head of nutrition and wellness at Next Gen Health and Lifestyle Club in basically Parnell,
Yep.
Auckland,
Yeah.
in town. And we have about 6,000 members. We are
Wow.
currently closed,
Ouch.
unfortunately, but fortunately, trying to combat this virus. But yeah, it's been a great place. I've been there a little over 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I work with a great group of people. Um, and it's a great gym, as far as it's very American style. So I was super thrilled that once we moved back here, we've been here now 3 years, this time around, that it had been built 6 or 7 years ago, I guess. Also has the ASB Tennis Classic there in
Yep.
January every year. So we get a lot of the big names here. We've had Serena and Venus and John Isner and the Bryan brothers, and some really great tennis players there. So that's fun. That's a fun couple of weeks that's going on in January at our club. So yeah, and we get highlighted on TV. So that's pretty cool.
Really cool. Are you are you adapting, seeing as the gym is closed right now? Have you adapted in terms of existing clients that you work with? Are you going online with them to continue their nutrition coaching and support, or how's that working for you?
Well, the beauty of what I do at the gym is I make the contact there, but often, well, not every time, but sometimes when people are they're obviously very busy, I will Skype or FaceTime or WhatsApp, talk to them, or just a regular audio call to do our weekly sessions if they buy a package, and we do it that way. So I am able to do it offsite. A lot of people, myself included, I would rather actually be face to face with them, but I just work with it, whatever works with them. So yeah, I've continued on with my existing clients. Obviously, I'm not, wandering around the gym, meeting more people and talking with people to see if there's, some needs there, or doing my workshops there. So that's another thing that I've had to make some changes with. So for now, the good thing was I had already started in mid-December on revamping my website. So it hasn't been implemented yet, but we've kind of okayed all the what we're going to do with it. And so all that's going to be taking place here shortly, hopefully even this week. So that's in the works. And so that's kind of going to be my springboard to do more things online anyway. So it's kind of like, I'm feeling good that I had done this, back in December. So I'll be at a point where I can, really get it and go. And I've been needing to do this. My family, they're my number one supporters in all this. And all of them, they're like, Mom, you need to do more of this. You need to do, my son, Jared, with my Instagram, Mom, you need to do more videos. Nobody wants to read long posts anymore. And I'm like, my old school thoughts are like, oh, but they need all this information. I'm like, no, Mom, they're not going to read it. do videos. So
exactly. I was actually watching something the other day by John Acuff, and he is in exactly the same space. I think it's our generation. We are the bloggers. We're not the video people. And he was saying exactly the same thing. That he's like, I'm not good at it yet, but I am doing video because that's what the millennials want. The people that want to hear from me are wanting video. So he's actually going into place too. And I think it's quite hard. Like, I enjoy writing. I enjoy blogging and talking and doing those sorts of things. I enjoy that. I enjoy that sort of stuff. So it is actually quite hard. So this is putting this health and wellness expo together has been quite a enjoyable experience, and making it feel quite normal to be on a screen and talk to people and all of those things. So
yes, thank you for the practice. and even learning how to do Zoom. This is new. The last 2 weeks I've learned how to use Zoom. I've been on 2 or 3 different meetings. I've watched a couple of programs on there, and just like even doing this, it's great. So
this is like, I didn't know how to do Zoom. I learned how to record videos and all those sorts of things literally this week while I've been doing these interviews. So it's been a great course for myself in terms of putting it together and doing all that sort of stuff. So we're forever learning and growing and doing these things, and we need to adapt, don't we, to fit with the different generations and what they want and what they need. So yeah, hopefully all these videos will then resonate with all those millennials out there.
I hope so too. So yeah, speaking of the workshops though, that is something I'm putting a lot of effort into now. Normally my workshops at Next Gen, I would do 2 a month. It'd be on the same topic. So I just basically do the same workshop 2 days in a row. And so I would usually do one, during the day, maybe weekday, and then one on the weekend, or, weeknight, so I can catch people that work during the day. And so, yeah, I've been doing those, again, putting myself out there, not knowing that I'm not the super most organized person and have everything, perfectly polished. I'm kind of a gal that shoots from the hip most of the time. So if you know me, you would be shaking your head like, yeah, she does do that. But I feel like it's from my heart. It's my passion in life. I love talking to people. My family's forever going, Mom, you just never shut up. But I do enjoy talking to people, connecting with people. And so I do these workshops, and I call them workshops because I don't want to be like lecturing people. I don't want people sitting there and me doing all the talking. I work with a fantastic graphic artist who I'm trying to get into Venus, by the way. I think she'll do a great job for other people too. And she helps me put my PowerPoint presentations together.
Oh, great.
And so I just talk from there. So, I mean, talking to people and having a great PowerPoint, to show to people. It's been something that I've really enjoyed. So I did it all last year. And so I've built a good bank of presentations. And so what I'm planning to do online is just kind of do, not a 45 or an hour long session, but, maybe 30-minute sessions.
Yeah.
And just, picking out topics that I think are really relevant, and, doing it online, learning how to put myself online and talk to people and do what I do online and help a lot of people. So I think there's a lot of people out there struggling, that they're like, I need help and I don't know where to turn. And so if I can be there, certainly in this time of need where everyone's kind of freaking out a little bit themselves, and worried about being stuck at home, not in a gym, worried about, having to cook for themselves or, their families, not wanting to come out of isolation, having gained, 5 kilos or more, or losing all their muscle, or, or having, some health issues or whatever. So, or, God forbid, get the virus. So, I just hope that I can kind of be out there for a lot of people that are searching, that are wanting some information, and I can deliver it in a way that's relatable and fun and, and inspiring. So that's my goal.
No, absolutely. It just sounds wonderful. I'm sitting here going, I think I might need to connect with you and have a good chat about my own.
That would be great. That'd be great.
That would be fantastic, and we'll need to do that. So what are the wise words that you are imparting on to encourage the clients that you are still connecting with and supporting weekly? What are your sort of parting words with them, or words of wisdom to encourage them to keep doing the right things while they are in their stay-at-home space?
Well, I mean, just like what I was saying, so that you don't come out of isolation having gained weight or lose all your muscle. Now's really the time, even more important than ever, to be focusing on your health and your wellness, and the things you're putting into your body, the things you're thinking about. Our negative thoughts can be just as damaging as, drinking a bunch of alcohol or smoking cigarettes or something. It's really, really damaging. And so, keeping up a good variety of vegetables, fruits and vegetables, as much as possible, because they are our antioxidants, which I often use analogies to help people kind of be able to imagine what I'm talking about, like what's happening in their body. So when we're eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, think about all those different colors. They have those colors because it's the chemical that they produce as they're growing in their little plants, becoming that color. It's part of their defense mechanism. And so when we eat of that plant, then we take on their defense properties. And so it's like having a little, literally a defense army in our body. So when we are faced with free radicals, which we do every day of our lives, walking outside and breathing exhaust from cars or pollution or cigarette smoke, or again, like I said, those negative thoughts, or we're exposed to, harmful bacteria or viruses or fungus or anything like that, we're taking in basically an invasion into our healthy body, and our body needs to fight that. And so by eating all these colorful fruits and vegetables, we build this army that basically is there to defend us. So these toxins that come in are like trying to destroy our healthy cells, basically is what happened, to try to bring about disease and kill us, basically. And so our antioxidants that we get from our fruits and vegetables are like a little army. And so they are going to seek and destroy that free radical, that toxin that's come in. But in the process, they themselves die. It's kind of like a suicide mission. You know, they're out there to protect you, but in the process, they die off themselves. So therefore, every day we need to replace that army. And so important. So, and, you know, there's so many other different analogies that I use about, you know, how your body works and how it processes food. But that's one of the biggest things, you know, making sure you get plenty of sleep, plenty of water. And they're telling us to drink warm liquids, even hot liquids like hot tea. The virus is killed by heat. And so the more we can have hot liquids in our body, the better. We don't want to have a dry throat. They're saying really drink a lot of water, which we should be doing that anyway. That's not necessarily during coronavirus time, but all the time we should be drinking plenty of water.
All the time,
and trying to stay calm. You know, I think the more, as I said, negative thoughts, and when those come into our body, that builds up inflammation in our body and can take us down. So really watch the amount of time that you spend watching the news. We're not getting a whole lot of good news these days right now. So it's important to kind of keep up with what's going on, but not hours and hours every day, because that's, you know, just hearing bad news all the time or scary news or is something that really can, you know, wreak havoc on our mind and our mindset. So cutting down on that. Positive things, you know, reaching out, staying connected. We don't want to lose those connections. And so most all of us have a phone or have our computers, or, you know, learning how to use Zoom or, you know, I've gotten on house party with some friends. So I've had some house parties and we just chat away. Great fun, you know, and make time for that. Definitely make time for that. And if you're a person of faith, that brings a lot of comfort. I mean, I am, and our family is, and you know, we definitely rely on that, and that gives us a lot of peace and comfort. So yeah, find those things that bring calmness and peace to you. Maybe it's music, maybe it's dancing in your kitchen.
Maybe it's dancing in your kitchen. Absolutely.
Find those things that bring you peace.
And what better time to really rest, you know, like get some good sleep. Like we've turned the morning alarms off now, you know, we wake up when we wake up now, and we're trying to still retain going to bed at, you know, like a nice reasonable hour for all of us and those sorts of things. And I'm just letting the kids sleep to whenever they sleep and all of that sort of stuff, and ourselves as well, because it's a great time where it's not the alarm goes off, I have to get out of bed, I have to, because you've got all of these places to be. All of a sudden we've got all of that commuting time or making lunchtime or running around after the kids' time. All of that is back and available to us to use in our chosen way. And if that's allowing your body to rest and wake when it wants to and get into that really nice natural sleep rhythm, that's got to be good for us. But I completely agree. I like your analogy of what antioxidants are. Another one that I really like is that free radicals are basically rust, and antioxidants take away the rust or stop things rusting.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a good one too.
That's another analogy of, like, you know, do you want your body to be rusty and hard to move and all of those sorts of things, and not, you know, not as supple and as and agile and shiny. And so so that's an antioxidant way. I really focus on that in our family. And we make sure that we eat a big range of fruits and vegetables and all of those sorts of things, but we also top it up with extra supplements to make sure that everyone's getting some really good antioxidant nutrition. So that's fabulous. Thank you so much, Susan. If people want to connect with you, they can connect through your website, and you've got a Facebook business page as well, I think. Have you?
I do. It's all Life Upright. So it's lifeupright.com, or it's Life Upright on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, we'll put all of those underneath in the comments so that people can connect with you directly if you have resonated with them and they've gone, yeah, I need some help and I need to have a chat with them.
Right. Well, they can watch the videos. I'm going to put the workshops online, so that's I'm in progress of doing that right now. So,
Yeah. Oh well,
so
that's
that will be available too.
and that's fantastic because it gives people a chance to hear what you have to say and get that resonance and understand your methods and your approach to it, because then it feels
Hmm.
like they've already met you and they already have that, yeah, you understood
Yeah,
that
that's true.
this is right for me. So going and using people's websites and seeing what education and material is available on there is a great way for people to spend some more time with you and then connect with you in person, to get some really personal advice as well. So thank you so much, Susan, for joining us here in the Health and Wellness Expo that we're providing online. And I look forward to connecting with you real soon personally.
Oh, that'd be great. I've so enjoyed this, Hazel. I think it's a wonderful idea, and I know you're going to help so many people.
Oh, thank
It's
you
going
so
to
much.
be great.
Thank you so much, Susan. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.